Welcome to the For Listeners program. Welcome aboard, everybody. Thanks for checking us out this week. What up, everybody? I'm Spear, and on the mics with me this week is the Z-Man. What is up, Z?
They give us those nice bright colors. They give us the greens of summer. Mama, don't take my coat chrome away.
Oh, my God. Okay. All right. On the other mic is the mighty Ganthor. What is up, Ganthor?
I don't know what that had to do with anything.
Well, it's Chrome. It's Chrome. This week, something must be done about the Googles. It's only fair. We did a whole show on Apple a few weeks ago, so it's only fair that we turn our attention to one of their rivals. You can say they're rivals, right?
And the house you would call them, but yeah, sir.
See, the Googles now are going after Apple at their own game. I am now a proud owner of a Google Pixel. The new Google Pixel is Google's first attempt at building their own phone without using like another vendor. So traditionally what they've done over the course of the last few years is they have licensed Android to other manufacturers like Samsung and HTC and was it Huawei? I don't even know how you pronounce it.
What?
Why? So they basically said, here's the operating system. You build a phone, you put it out there. And all of the other phone manufacturers have always put their own little spin on things. Google finally said, F all that. We're going to go down the iPhone route. And for what it's worth, it's a nice phone. It's a well-built phone, and it looks like an iPhone. It looks like an iPhone without the home button.
Why
at the
didn't you
bottom.
just buy an iPhone?
Because I have been with the Google phones now for the last 6 years. I bought into the Android world.
Sounds like you're a Mac user. I will always be a Mac user. Windows is hard.
Well, it's not that one is harder than the other. It's just I have this. It's like having some brand loyalty. Like would either of you ever switch up to an Android phone at this point?
No.
Okay,
No,
well
that's
then
terrible.
Because I'm bought into it.
Well, then what the fuck are you asking me for?
Because it's your show, dude.
And I'm saying I have been with this thing for the last 8 years. It's my brand loyalty. You guys wouldn't switch up from iOS, so why would I switch up at this point? Just because you two said so?
Oh, because
Yes.
you said so years ago.
Oh my God.
Never going to live it down.
How much? That's literally 6 years ago. 6 years ago I said that.
Shouldn't have said it if you didn't mean it.
6 years ago I said that I would get the Verizon iPhone when it came out. 6 years ago.
You had 6 years to disappoint us.
So, well, I continue to disappoint you year to year, Ganthor. Mea culpa. It's a nice phone. I like the phone. It's fast. It's responsive. And I'll tell you what else. The other thing that needs some time, I guess, the whole point of the Google Pixel phone was the Google Assistant, which is their new version of you talk to it, you ask it questions, and it comes back to you with stuff. It's the same thing that they have with Siri. It's the same thing that they have with Cortana from Microsoft. It's the same thing that Amazon has with Alexa.
So what's Google's called?
It's called Assistant.
Assistant.
Really?
Yes, it's called Assistant. Google Assistant.
Good thing it's not called intern.
That's what it's called. I mean, for one thing, it's just a dopey name for it.
Yeah,
That's just way too many. Yeah, it's way too many syllables.
Yeah.
You say, hey, assistant?
No, you go, okay, Google.
Can you just say, go, hey, ass?
No, you can't.
So it's called Google Assistant, but in order to get it to assist you, you have to actually say, okay, Google.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it does all the things that you would normally ask it to do, like set an alarm or remind you of something or add something to your shopping list.
Do you do that?
All
of those things?
I have started to do it only because I'm like, all right, well, I got this thing. Let's see what it does. The one thing I like that it does is I say, tell me about my day. And it'll tell me what time it is, the day, the time. It'll tell me what appointments I have on my calendar. It'll tell me what the weather is. And then it'll start reading off the news. And it'll play podcasts from like NPR, from ESPN. And you can kind of curate the list a little bit, and it'll just kind of like play the morning news for you. And that's kind of neat. I dig that.
Does it give you daily affirmations?
No, it doesn't give me any daily affirmations.
Spear, you're good enough. You're smart enough. People love you.
People love me.
You have a great podcast.
No, it doesn't.
You're going to go places.
No, I really wish it did. That would really brighten up my day first thing, but no, that's not what it does.
Oh, okay.
But that's about the only useful thing that I've noticed it does. Like you can't get it yet to say things that Siri like already does, like order me an Uber or reserve me a table or whatever. And I
Will it tell you scores of ball games?
Sure, yeah. Like if you say what was the score of the Cubs game, or what was the score of the Eagles game, or something along those lines, it'll tell you all that stuff.
Will it tell you the score of a current game?
If it's being
active
played,
game?
sure. Yeah. It'll tell you all that.
Have you asked it who its daddy is?
I don't know.
Can you get it to call you something?
I don't think so. Okay, Google, who's your daddy?
I consider my engineers family.
She didn't answer the question.
Because that's what happened when Siri first came out. Is you were asking all these perverse questions to see what Siri would say, and sometimes it had Easter eggs baked in to reply. What was there was a math one, if you divided something by 0 or that were all the fun ones.
Or if you did the 0 divided by 0?
Yeah. Ask it what 6 divided by 0 is.
Okay, Google. What is 6 divided by 0?
According to Math Forum, instead of just assigning one willy-nilly, we say that infinity isn't a number and that 1/0 is undefined.
Oh, God, shut up.
That was less humorous.
That was not humorous at all.
Can you get it to call you something else?
No, I haven't trained it to call me Master or anything like that. It knows what my name is.
Would that excite you? Is that something you're interested in?
Why, having it call me Master?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be hot.
We'll call you Masturbator.
That's right. The one thing that they did today is they announced that you can use Harry Potter spells. So if you went OK Google Lumos, it would turn on your flashlight.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, you can use Lumos, Nox to turn off your flashlight, and Silencio to put your phone on vibrate.
Does it understand Klingon as well?
I don't know. I couldn't even speak Klingon, to tell you the truth, to figure out what it does or does not know. But that was cool. I was playing with that today with my kid, and that'll be fun. The other thing about this now is that this is one of the first Google phones that will support Google Daydream. Google Daydream. Google Daydream now is their new virtual reality headset. So have you guys fucked around with one of these things before?
I've messed around with Oculus.
So the Oculus is a different story, but this is like the Samsung Gear VR, where you just take a smartphone and you slide it into the front of whatever the headset is, and it's all the virtual reality is being driven from the smartphone.
Right. Yeah, I've got Google Cardboard, and it works awesome on the iPhone.
Does it really?
Yeah, it's really cool.
What do you do with that?
It's really cool for just kind of like if you you see those pictures people post the panoramics, and then Facebook converts it into a thing where you can kind of move your phone and see it around.
Yeah, like the 360
just does that.
thing. Yeah.
It just does that on a larger format, so it's your whole entire field of vision.
Ganthor, you ever fuck with one of these things?
Nah, I'm not into that virtual reality shit.
Not yet, huh?
He can't get over his real world, real life. He still doesn't come up. Fuck that. Never mind.
That was terrible.
Terrible.
Thanks.
That was awful.
Awful.
He still hasn't come to grasp with his real reality. That's what I was trying to
say.
say.
There you go. Good job. Way to get it out there. So I'm going to get one of these Daydreams headsets too. We'll see.
What are you going to do with that?
That's what I don't know. I don't know.
Are you just spending money to spend it?
No, no. So the Daydream headset came as a promotional item with the purchase of the phone. It's an $80 headset, but you have to put the phone in it before it does anything.
So it's an $80 Google Cardboard.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. But instead of cardboard, it's it's soft and plush. But that's exactly right. That's exactly what it is.
Do you think they have interns launching products at Google like this?
I think that the parent company of Google now, Alphabet, has their whole R&D wing. They have this the one phone I saw today that they just put out. It's a Lenovo phone that has this software called Tango, and Tango has a bunch of sensors on the back of the phone that will sense that have some sort of depth perception, and it allows the phone to do augmented reality and really understand what's going on around you or in front of you to make the environments much more interactive. So it's kind of like Microsoft's HoloLens. Have you seen this thing yet?
No, I have not.
So Microsoft's got something that's just like this, where it's a headset that you put on, but instead of virtual reality, it's augmented. So there's basically a HUD that comes up, and you're seeing things show up in the room that you can kind of reach out and touch in like 3D space. So I think that's what Tango is supposed to be for. And Google has had, or now Alphabet has had these kinds of R&D projects kind of all over the company that are loss leaders. Like they don't make any money for the company, but they help drive certain technologies forward. And that's been pretty
research.
cool.
It's research lab.
Yeah. Like one of the Android phone concepts that they came up with a while ago, I forget what it was called, but it was a modular phone thing where you could piece together different parts of the phone so that you didn't have to upgrade the phone. You would just upgrade the one bit of it. Like if you needed a faster processor, you would just upgrade the processor. And just
Right. There was a bunch of Kickstarters that were trying to do that as well. Like it's kind of like a Lego kind of approach.
Yeah. And like if you needed to upgrade the camera, you just swapped out the camera module and you put a new camera module in there. So it was supposed to be a cheaper, more modular alternative to smartphones. And I thought that was kind of neat, but they never went anywhere with that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Kickstarters that were doing that too. I think it's a cool idea, but yeah, it wasn't going anywhere.
I mean, you give Google a lot of credit for kind of pushing the envelope on this kind of stuff, and sometimes it turns out to be something cool. Like this Tango thing is the first time there's a commercially available product for it, so that's kind of neat. I have a lot of respect for Google in the innovation space when it comes to that, and you know who knows? Maybe they do have an intern that comes up with some wackadoo idea and they bring it to the.
It's not the intern. It's somebody's neighbor's kid they hired to give him a job because he needed one, and somebody made him, head of something or other, and he decided to launch this $80 Google Cardboard thing.
That also makes ramen.
If wishing only made it so.
Same thing happened at Amazon with their Fire Phone.
And didn't they also do the thing that had like a button that you could put by your laundry soap, so that when you needed laundry soap, you push the button and it
Amazon Dash.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that still a thing, or did it go out of business already?
Yeah, it's a thing.
I don't think it's a thing I would use.
Well, so it's an interesting. It's an interesting thought. Amazon started to figure out early to in order to sell more stuff, they wanted to get devices into the home. The Kindle Fire was just the first example where its sole purpose was a delivery device for Amazon content. So too was the Dash, and the other thing that they have now is the Echo. So the Amazon Echo is it looks like a cylinder. Where now they have the Echo Dot. It's just like a little like a hockey puck. And you put it somewhere in your house, and all you have to do is yell out, "Hey Alexa," and you tell it what you want. And it's the same thing like Google Assistant. What's the weather? Play me this music. I think it'll even cast for you. Like if you say play this movie, it'll cast to, like if you have a Fire Stick somewhere, like hooked into a TV, it'll start playing something for you, like a movie or something.
Do you have to say please?
I don't think so. I don't think you have to be very polite with it.
Yeah, they should make you so you have to be polite.
That would be bullshit. You would bash the goddamn thing over with a baseball bat.
You didn't say please. You get rickrolled.
You didn't say the magic word. Never gonna give you up. I would break the thing in a million pieces at that point.
Nope. So that's what I'm saying though. Is it's gonna build a society of kids who are just like, give me this, play this, do it, and no one's gonna learn how to say please anymore.
Nobody's gonna know how to say please. And now Google has the same thing. Google has the same thing. They announced at the same time with the Pixel phone, they have the Google Home, I think it's called, and it's got the same software built in, the Google Assistant built in, and apparently it works with like your Nest thermostat. It works with some of these Philips automated bulbs and things like that, where you can turn your lights on and off.
It's kind of crazy that it still has taken this long for the automated house shit to take off.
Well, here it comes. This is it.
I know it's coming, but it took a long time.
We are two or 3 years away max from fucking Star Trek.
We are not. We're not having Federation credits and fucking replicators.
Maybe not replicators, but we're 2 or 3 years away from like turning around and like everything that you do in your house. You'd be like computer, and then you tell the computer what you want, and then the computer does something. Computer, make me toast. Or
tea. Earl Grey.
Earl Grey, hot.
Hot.
You are 3 years away from this, and I don't know how I feel about it.
I think it's great, but let's make sure that it doesn't like start serving dog shit and work all those kinks out.
Well, the problem I have, and it's the same problem, and we talk about this all the time, is how much you give up of your information for these devices to work. Like, in order for Google Assistant to work, I had to sign off on the device knowing my location. I had to sign off on on it keeping every command I ever gave it.
So I listened to a fascinating podcast this morning. I'll have to post a link when the show notes or the show things. They're talking about the fact that the iPhone by default encrypts all communication via text message and on the phone to the point where Apple can't unlock the phone or give you data even if it wanted to. But the Android phones do not.
That's right.
And so they're saying is that is creating a economic divide on who has privacy, because people with lower incomes usually go with Android because they're cheaper, as opposed to Apple products, which are usually $600 as an entry point. And so they're saying that the things like, Black Lives Matter and Arab Spring and those kinds of things usually are being orchestrated by lower income people, and therefore they're not getting the same protections, and that everyone should have the same amount of protection.
And Ganthor, where do you come down on the whole home automation, the smartphone, smart home, maybe Google or Apple knowing all this stuff about you? Where do you, in order to make your life more convenient in your home, where do you come down on that?
I don't like them knowing this stuff about me, but I love being able to control things from my phone and wish that was more widespread and prevalent. Like being able to control the garage door or lights or the thermostat. That would be fantastic, but it's too expensive or too annoyingly difficult right now to adopt all of that.
Well, the other problem is that a lot of the people who are building these products are half-assing it, and they put zero thought into security or very little thought into it. Case in point, the cars that can be hijacked remotely, and I'm sure if your garage door is you can do it by phone, then that means somebody else can spoof it. Since now anybody can get into your house.
Well, wasn't there a huge denial of service attack just a few weeks ago that took down the internet? And it was all done by leveraging a shit ton of requests by all these connected devices.
Yeah,
that's
bot network.
Yeah.
That's the rumor, right? So I mean, you can. It's almost as if you can take these devices and turn them against us.
Well, I even do it maliciously against people. Over the summer, we were at one of our friends' daughter's 16, happy 16th or sweet 16th or whatever, and they had one of the Bluetooth speakers that anybody could connect to play songs. So we would troll them by connecting to it and starting to play our old shitty 40-year-old songs over their 16-year-old songs, and they didn't understand what was happening, and we just did that all night.
That's like back in college when everybody had the same remote control signals for all of their cable boxes, and you could just walk around the dorms just clicking people's channels.
Did you really?
Yeah, they all had the same frequency, so that all the remotes worked for any box.
This is what Ganthor would do, though. Ganthor would come into my place and he would fuck with all of my shit. He would set all the alarms so that they all went off at 4:00 in the morning. The heat would go on in the middle of the summer. I'd wake up in a goddamn hot box.
Yep. And then he would change the language to like Brazilian, so you couldn't change it back.
That's exactly right. I would have to get up in the morning. I'd go, "Hola, Google."
I don't know if "hola" is Portuguese.
Obrigado.
Obrigado.
Obrigado,
That's
Google. That's what I would have to do. That's all
You
the more
should
reason
get
for
that
me.
stuff just so I can do it to you.
No, you see, that's all the more reason for me not to do this, so that you can't do it to me.
Well, you realize the next time that we're together, I'm just going to "Hey Google" your phone the whole time.
I don't
Google,
know.
show me goat sex.
I don't
Hey
know.
Google, show me lemon party.
I don't think it's going to listen to you. I really don't.
Why wouldn't it?
Because it had to
Did
learn
you
my
have to
voice.
train your voice?
Yeah, it had to learn my voice.
I bet it would work.
God, I hope not. Because all that shit goes in my search history. And you would do that while I wasn't around. Like, if I left my phone anywhere.
I would do it while you're sitting there watching, because even that's the best, because you're right there and you still can't stop it. Every time I open my mouth to say something, there's going to be that fear in the back of your head that I'm going to say, "Hey Google."
What did we learn? What did we learn about Google, Z-Man?
Spears a liar.
A liar.
And he should have bought an iPhone.
From 6 years ago. 6 years ago. Ganthor, what did you learn?
You're a sellout.
How could I be a sellout?
You just sold your soul to Google
We've all been selling our souls to Google
just
for many,
to not
many
have
years.
an iPhone.
We've been selling our soul to Google for many, many years. You know what I
No.
learned? I learned that
What?
I'm a disappointment.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a disappointment. I hang my head in shame. So if you think I'm a disappointment, why don't you go ahead and let me know on the Facebook page, facebook.com/4listeners or 4listeners.com. You could check out the show on Stitcher Radio, on iTunes, or on Google Play. Just search for 4Listeners. It will pop right on up, and you can tweet at us on the Twitters at 4Listeners, and you can tell me exactly how much I disappoint you there as well. We thank you for checking us out this week, and we hope that you will check us out again next week. Thanks a bunch, everybody.
You really need that daily affirmation feature.
This is how we'll know whether or not any of my exes are still listening to the show. Because they'll get right on Facebook and they'll be like, "You're a disappointment." Well, like, okay, that makes sense.
You never satisfied me.
Wanted to know whether or not my exes are still listening to the show. This is how we find out.
Nice.
Yes, you're a disappointment. Yes, often to myself. Thank you very much.